Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of me talking about things, the show. Anyways, today I'm going to be doing a review of the movie Creep. Now why would I do a review of that movie? It's like 2 years old, pretty sure it just went straight to Netflix, low budget kind of deal. Why would I review this? Because I watched it last night. So, that's it, that's all you need. That's it. So while it's fresh in my mind, I want to sit down and give my review of this movie. Now, you might be asking yourself, why should I listen to you? I'm not an established reviewer. I'm certainly not famous. What incentive do you have to watch this? None. There is none. I'm sorry. That sounded angry. I'm not angry. Then why? What would compel me to make this video? My steadily declining mental health. Without further ado, we're going to get right into this review. The Blair Witch Project is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and I could go into that with enough content for a whole nother video, but I won't, because that's even less relevant than this movie. Quick disclaimer, I will spoil the entire fucking movie in this review. Because I can't review it otherwise. I don't have that much tact in my body. When it comes to horror movies of this genre, the more grain in the film, the better. I prefer my movies to be whole grain or sourdough. But just because a movie is found footage and filmed on a shitty camera doesn't automatically make it good. The Blair Witch Project's success spawned a fuckload of terrible found footage movies. So, going into this, I knew to have enough reservations to not just jerk the thing off the whole time. Oh no, I'm late for that thing I gotta do. Why is this so far away? Jesus. Now, there are really only two people in this movie. One of them's the director. His character, Aaron, gets paid by this guy named Joseph to come out to his secluded forest cottage and film him for a day. Joseph's wife is pregnant, but also, he's got cancer. So he's gonna die before his kid's born, so he wants Aaron to film him and just show how he really is in his day-to-day life. Now that's all good and sweet, but from the second Joseph shows his face on camera, he just makes you feel weird. And it's not the good kind of weird, like when you get all tingly from looking at girls on the internet. And that's because he does shit like this, just all the time. That's just his face. And throughout the whole movie, the actor does a great job of just towing that line between unsettling and endearing. Like, you almost feel bad for him. Oh, he's not a bad guy. He doesn't have a face collection. He's not a furry. He's just misunderstood. An unfortunate man with a terrifying smile and off-putting demeanor. And I think that's the whole point of the movie, and I think why I really liked it. The whole movie, they just keep trying to get you to give Joseph the benefit of the doubt. Like, yeah, sure he says some weird shit, and yeah, he looks like Norman Bates, but the man's dying. Like, let's just cut him some slack. And then along comes this scene, and all of the reservations you had about hating this guy go out the window. Hearing this guy describe how he put on that wolf mask and raped his wife because he caught her looking at bestiality on the internet kind of takes all that sympathy out of the equation. Then you find out maybe like 10 minutes later that he just made that whole thing up. He doesn't even have a wife. He doesn't have an unborn child. Oh, he didn't rape his wife? This guy? He didn't rape his wife? He doesn't have a wife? He didn't rape his wife. Okay. He didn't rape his wife? He didn't. His wife's not real. And you start feeling better about the whole situation. Until you start thinking about how he had to come up with all that shit. That was rolling around in his noggin. Normally, when people lie, it's to make themselves look better. But this guy, he told a lie to make someone think that he was a rapist. And that, to me, might just be a little more crazy than actually raping your wife. So with this new revelation, Aaron rightfully freaks the fuck out. There's a quick scuffle between Aaron and Joseph's, of course, wearing that creepy fucking wolf mask. And then in the next scene, Aaron's at home. And you might think at that point, well, that's it. That's the climax. Things are just they're gonna wrap it all up, gonna go peter off that tension from here, and then bang into the movie. And it was at that point that I, on Netflix, checked how much time there was and found out there was just another half hour to go. And what the fuck could they possibly have planned for that last half hour? So getting out of the house wasn't quite the final solution Aaron was looking for, and he starts getting these packages sent to him, of course by Joseph, and there's like videotapes and a knife and a locket. And there's not a uncreepy way to send a locket to someone. It just doesn't exist. And if you were Aaron at this point, you would probably just call the fucking police. And that's actually what he does. I was surprised. In a lot of horror movies, the characters just act like complete imbeciles and just that's why they die. You don't feel bad anymore. You're like, you deserve it. But Aaron actually calls the police. This part was, I think, just a little too bogus for me, because he calls the police and he's like, hey, someone's leaving all this shit at my house, and there's a knife here. It's kind of fucking weird. And the police are like, do you have his real name and address? Which he doesn't. Well, I guess we can't do anything for you then. What? Go to the people he rented the cottage from. See who rented that cottage. Follow the trail from there. There's probably tons of shit you could do at that point. So I thought that was just a little too convenient. So Aaron's getting all this shit sent to him, and he's, of course, like a normal person, freaking the fuck out. And there's, of course, some scenes where Aaron's walking around the house, and in the background you see Joseph, like, peeking in through the windows. And then, of course, there's that classic scene in all found footage horror movies when he's, like, sleeping, he's got the camera next to his face, and all of a sudden someone picks up the camera and cuts off a lock of his hair and then puts it down. And apparently, Aaron doesn't check any of the footage he recorded from the night, so why even record it? But yeah, he never notices that Joseph's been in his house. And then he gets this final video recording. And it's this guy, of course. He goes on this whole spiel about how, oh, he's so sorry, and he doesn't know what's wrong with him, and God, you should just thank you for being such a friend to him that day, and he wants to make it up for him. So just come on out to this it's a public area. Nothing will happen to you, I swear. Just give me another chance. Like, even after all this shit, he genuinely seemed repentant about it. And maybe I'm just a sucker for that. But maybe I would have gone out there. I wouldn't have gone out there. And I kind of went along with it. Maybe you guys are smarter than I was. But I almost believed him. So Aaron, like me, being a fucking retard, decides to head on out to this nice open area and meet up with Joseph and hash things out. And he goes and he sits down on this bench, and out of the right side of the screen, good old Joseph, wearing that fucking wolf mask, and just takes an axe right to the back of his head. And just a couple more times for good measure. Now, the only other criticism I have of this movie is I think it went on maybe just 10 minutes too long. I think show him get hit in the head with the axe, or maybe don't even show that and just cut it there. Thought that would have been a perfect end to the movie. But he kind of goes on. There's another 10 minutes of like Joseph with the camera pointed at his face. And he kind of just goes on to explain the whole movie and what the point of it was. And then he goes and he shows this whole fucking closet full of other videos from the other people he's killed. At the same time, he's on the phone with a next victim, trying to get them to come out and film him. And I think it was overkill. Like, we probably could have figured out what the movie was about without those 10 minutes. But I thought the movie was really well done. The acting was great. And I thought it raised some interesting questions about, like, when is enough? Even if you care about someone and want to help them, when is there a point when there's just nothing left you can do and they're always going to be fucked up? And when do you stop trying? So I think the moral of this story is don't trust furries. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you made it through the whole thing, you might have lower self-esteem than I do. Hope the multiple costume changes weren't too distracting. Kind of had to film this over the course of a few weeks. If you made it through the whole thing and actually liked it, you know the whole YouTube deal. You can do that. Or not. I'm not your mom. But yeah, hope to be doing some more things like this. Some more things that aren't like this. Just whatever I kind of want to do. Hopefully I'll be able to get up a video once every couple of weeks. They won't all take as much time as this one did. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully, possibly in the next video. And I will play myself out.